Namaste, Jai Hind, and welcome to Statschat. Let's focus on the one man who not only helped himself to the 77th international century but also crossed a landmark with 13,000 runs. Virat Kohli has a penchant for making centuries, and he's one of the keys for Bharat to do well at the forthcoming Cricket World Cup. How prolific is he as a run scorer, and is there a pattern to his scoring runs across all formats of the game? Let's try and have a look at the once-in-a-century man, that is Virat Kohli. Let's try and see how he's actually broken the drought which lasted for about 3 years. For 3 years, there was no century from his willow, and in the last 40 innings, he scored 7 centuries from the 71st to the 77th century. Look at the speed at which he scored, and this is all between December 2022 till about, September 2023. Let's look at this. 10th of December, his 113 against Bangladesh. The 71st was in September 2022. So in the last 1 year, 7 centuries, starting with a T20 international against Afghanistan, and then of course the 122 in just about 90 odd deliveries against Pakistan at the ODI on the 10th of September in the Asia Cup. Now this is where you see the increase in the run flow of the Kohli willow. The 121 that came against West Indies in July, then in March, and slowly you see him coming into his own across the formats. But is there a pattern? And also, how fast, where does he score well? Now, if you look at in tests, the average innings per century, that means in every 6.45 innings, Virat has been scoring a century. 187 tests, 29 centuries. In ODIs, that century per innings, that average actually improves to 5.7. And there, in T20s, of course, he's played only one T20 international and he scored 107 there. And here, overall, his century per innings is 7.30. That's quite admirable if you compare it among the all-time greats. And especially in modern-day cricket, there are few who score faster centuries than Virat Kohli. Can he actually eclipse the 100 international centuries by Sachin Tendulkar? We'll come to that. But when we look at the all-time greats, minimum 100 innings, minimum 10 centuries, and if you were to see all of these players who are above Virat in their innings per century score are all players from a different era. Gary Sobers is right at the top at an innings per century rate of 6.19. Virat is above Sachin Tendulkar. Only 2 Indian players amongst the modern day cricketers and also in the overall list feature among the top 10. You have the West Indies, England, Australia, Barrington there, Hobbs, and up to Hutton. These are all from a different era of cricket. But in the modern day cricket, you have only 2 players here who are very familiar names, having played a minimum of 100 innings and a minimum of 10 centuries. And Sachin Tendulkar at 7.82 is actually behind Virat Kohli in the innings per century rate. Let's look at the modern day Fab 5. Modern day Fab 5, Virat Kohli, Steve Smith, Joe Root, Babar Azam and Kane Williamson. In this current era, in the last decade and a half, if you were to see, look at the rate at which Virat Kohli has been scoring. He's faster than Steve Smith. 7.3 is Virat Kohli. Steve Smith innings per century is at 8.14 innings that he takes per century across all formats. Joe Root is at 9.30. Babar Azam at 9.39 and Kane Williamson nearly 10 innings per century. That's the rate among the Fab 5. Again, Virat's rate of scoring centuries, the prolific run scoring ability stands out here. That's why we expect big hundreds from Virat Kohli or hundreds from Virat Kohli. 40-50 se kaam nahi chalta. Venue or nations now, hundreds at different venues. In India, Virat has scored across 35 different venues across India. Australia 11 different venues, Sri Lanka 7, Bangladesh 6, West Indies 6, South Africa 5, England 3, New Zealand 2, Zimbabwe 1 and the UAE 1. But 100 at most venues, he's only behind Sachin Tendulkar. He scored 77 international hundreds across 46 venues. Tendulkar is at 53 venues and 100 international hundreds. The rest in Ricky Ponting, 35 different venues, Jacques Kallis 35 different venues, Rahul Dravid 33 different venues. So these two are far ahead of anybody else in terms of hundreds. spread across multiple venues. That means multiple different types of conditions, different types of pitches, and that's why the variety of venues. So he's scoring runs not in specific places, but spread across, be it country or continents. Now, Virat, hundreds in ODIs. Overall, he scored across while batting first and also while chasing. 21 hundreds while batting first, 26 hundreds while chasing, 47 international hundreds. But more importantly, in matches won, he scored hundreds which have helped India win the game. 22 matches while India is chasing, he scored 22 hundreds, and that's where India has won. Overall, 39 hundreds in a winning cause from Virat's willow. That's why he's the most successful in run chases in ODIs in terms of most hundreds in successful run chases. Virat leads the pack. Tendulkar is behind him. Tendulkar is 8 behind him. And you have got Rohit Sharma there at 11. Tilakratna Dilshan of Sri Lanka, Sanath Jayasuriya. So 3 Indians and 2 Sri Lankans in most hundreds in successful run chases. And the person who leads the pack is again Virat Kohli. Interesting numbers these. Now, if you look at the prolific rate of run scoring or the speed at which he's scoring runs, he's joined 5th at the fastest to 1000, joined 10th at 2000, joined 8th at 3000, joined 5th at 4000. But as he gets to 8,000 runs in international cricket, look at this. In ODIs, especially in one-day international cricket, from 8,000 runs onwards, he is leading. He's the fastest in terms of the number of innings he's taken to get to 13,000 runs, 267 innings. So the least number of innings to get to 13,000 runs is Virat Kohli. The least number of innings, 242 to get to 12,000 runs. So from 8,000 runs onwards, in his 175th inning, he got 8,000 runs ODI, and then he is now first all the way up to 13,000 runs. So the speed at which he's scoring, and where is he scoring those runs? Let's try and understand this. Total number of runs from boundaries. If you look at it, 54% of his runs have come in 1s, 2s and 3s. As far as tests are concerned, 46% have come in boundaries. And that ratio somehow tends to remain the same in both formats of tests and ODIs, where bulk of his runs are by running, not through boundaries. 54% and 56% tests and ODIs. It flips only in the case of T20s, where he's scoring more boundaries than taking runs or running them. But of course, that's in terms of T20s. So overall, if you go to see the bulk of runs he scored, 13,847 of the runs he scored till date, they have all come by running. So how much do you think Virat Kohli has run? Virat Kohli in his career so far, aggregate has run more than 514 kilometers between wickets. This is how much he has run, Virat Kohli has run. Let's have a look at these numbers. In tests, he's run 102,000 yards. In ODIs, he's run 160,000 plus yards. In T20s, more than 41,000 yards. And more importantly, he's run 235 kilometers for his partner's run. And overall, he's run about 514 kilometers so far in his career. Impressive, isn't it? And that's why Virat Kohli is once in a century. Hope you enjoyed this edition of Statschat. Bye for now.